Everyone. So today we're going to be discussing monochromatic color palettes. So I know we're working on color this month, and a monochromatic color palette is a scheme that is created with the same color but different values of it. So we're going to create a color perspective using monochromatic color palette. So today I'm going to be using purple myself. We all know I like purple. So I want you guys to pick whatever color you want. So go with your favorite color today and let's see what we can create. So the first thing we're going to do is kind of create our color palette. So our color palette is going to be different values and some different temperatures of the same color. So we've been learning quite a bit about that and how to create it. So I've got my camera kind of at a different angle today, and I'm hoping it all works out. If anyone has any critiques about my lighting, just because I've changed stuff up a little bit, please let me know. So I'm going to take my color I like, the purple, white, and I'm also going to use a bit of black because I'm going to create gray to darken my color a little bit. Okay, so we're going to get started. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about what perspective means. Perspective is really depth. So we're going to use the same color, just different values of it, to create depth in a landscape. And I figured we'd do something fun like mountains. But it's not to say you can't change these mountains to hills or fields, lots of different stuff. So I'm going to create... This is not the one I'm going with. I just kind of want to give you an idea. So every layer we are going to paint differently. So it looks like our landscape has depth. So when we create depth with color, we're creating it by using our darker colors as our foreground and our paler colors as the background. And then we're going to work our way through. So you'll understand more as we paint. But the great thing about perspective, and I like to always explain, is sometimes perspective is based on something you're looking at in a place like in the horizon. But sometimes perspective can come with color. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So this is just kind of an example of the drawing we're going to do. It's like different mountains, but I want to also kind of look at the different colors we can create. So pick your favorite color. You don't have to use the same color as me by any. Okay, so I'm going to create my purple. And so this is the color I have picked right out of the tube. So that's what it looks like. So I'm also going to create different values of that color with white. Remember, I've said values are the lightness and darkness of a color. And with that, we are going to add color perspective and how we're looking at our color today. So I'm going to add a little bit more purple to my palette. So I've got some different values. I've got a really light value over here. So these are my paler colors that I'm going to have in the background. And as we get closer to the foreground, they're going to get darker. So to darken a color, I'm going to use some black. And if you can tell, it kind of sucks that color right out. So I'm going to add some more to that. So a little bit of black to that color, just to give me a different value. Okay, so I'm going to show you some different values of this color. So this is the one I did in black and my purple. And then I'm going to use my purple out of the tube like I showed you before. And then I'm going to go to a lighter purple. And then a really light purple. So we can create lots of different colors with one color, which is going to be really interesting that now we're playing with perspectives. but we're also playing with just the change of a color and how that can create the perspective in our painting. So, like I was explaining before, we're going to create kind of a mountain scene. So, they don't have to be all perfectly shaped like this, but we're going to have the sky up here, and that's going to be our palest color. Then I'm going to create some mountains, and I'd like them kind of like all different kind of shapes. I'm going to start maybe down here so we can create some that are like offset a little bit. And this is just my landscape. And you know what? Some of these mountains might not look completely real, but it's kind of fun. I want to kind of change up the shapes. You could even create some mountains and create a field or create some hills, but I'm going with all mountains. I've been looking up lots of landscapes online lately, and I enjoy looking at the mountain landscapes. They're pretty amazing. I'm hoping to go this summer, take lots of pictures, and hopefully we can create some beautiful mountain scenes off of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to create our color perspective by using the palest colors, which is the lightest colors, which I'm going to give myself a couple different, even lighter yet colors onto my paper. So it's almost white and it's got a tinge of the color I'm going with, right? Because monochromatic means the same color, just different values, lighter and darker. And I think it's amazing that we can look at color and start to realize how powerful color is. Color can create, emotions in people. You could see red and feel, I don't know, like it's a fun color, or blue as a calming color, but it can also give perspective to what we're trying to create. I love using colors together to give different looks. Monochromatic is kind of a nice soft way to use color. So it's using all the same colors. So there's not a lot going on where you have a lot of change, right? Like you'll have a bright and a dull color side by side. But what we can do is show that even if it's just the value, how it can make a painting look like it's actually got a perspective. So like you're looking into the distance. And I urge you to try different things. Try a city scene. Try creating something like a house on a beach or a house in a field, and see if you can give yourself perspective by using the same color but a different values of it, and see how that works. It's all about experimenting, like I told you. It's the biggest thing about painting. And learning to paint well, it takes practice. It's been bad. This week we've been busy with a lot of kind of stuff going on around our house, so I haven't had a lot of time to paint, and it's been kind of sad. I always feel better when I paint more often. So this weekend I'm going to paint quite a bit. So if you're painting too, please send in some pictures and show me what you're working on. And I can put some pictures up of the projects I'm working on. Okay, see how that's a little paler? So it's in the distance, right? This is what I'm trying to do, is create that look that you're looking into the distance, and how things look and how everything is more vivid the closer it is. So the brighter it is. Oh, see, I kind of went into the sky color, so I'll darken that a little bit. Let's see. And remember, painting is always fixable. I just totally went in with the wrong color and then just put the right color on top. Okay, I'm just going through here. Landscapes are always so nice to make. Lots of people love different landscapes. So I'm sure if you don't want your painting when you're done with it, If you talk to your mom or your dad or friends, there's going to be somebody that would love to hang your painting up. Okay, so I'm going to work my way down here. So the darker at the front, and I slowly just work just like on levels, right? First level is almost white, and I add a little bit of my color, my fun purple, as I move forward. Monochromatic colors, I just really like them. I find them just fun to work with. Sometimes I will take one color and I will create a portrait out of it. So I'll just look and see, okay, if I looked at a portrait in black and white, where's my lightest color? Let's use the same color all the way through. So maybe I'll work on that this weekend and then post some stuff so you guys can see what I mean. Monochromatic is just an amazing way to paint. And it shows on how we can use our colors to create different looks. Sometimes softer looks, sometimes more hard looks, and more intense. For intense, I like to go with lots of complementary colors, so colors that are crossed from them at the color wheel. And we're going to work on that next week. I'm going to show you all sorts of different things you can do with colors. I'm using paper today instead of a canvas, so you might notice it's bubbling a little bit, but I know some people that don't like that with their art, but I kind of like it. I like when things are not perfect. You know me. Lots of my art is not perfect. I like it like that. Remember, sometimes if we pick kind of more of a translucent color, we might want to put another coat on it. Okay. I'm gonna just go in and paint away. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna darken the color a little bit. And I already have right here. Let's take a look and see how that one goes. I just have a little bit. Oh, see, there's a difference, but not a huge difference, but it makes it look like it's far away, but this is farther away, and this is farther away. It's doing exactly what I want it to, but in a soft, nice way. So my gosh, outside, I don't know about you guys, but we have lots of snow right now, and I want summer here so badly. I feel like we don't even have a place to put our snow anymore, that there's just so much of it. And I think I've had enough. Usually, and maybe enjoy winter a little bit. It's definitely not my favorite season, but I know I've kind of had enough. I can't wait for summer. I like to go away and go on trips and go see different landscapes. And this summer, I'm hoping you guys kind of can get some ideas for different things you'd like to paint. So I'm sure your parents will be around with their phones, and on their phones are cameras, and it's wonderful that maybe if you see something you're really interested in, you could ask your parents if they could take a picture for you. And then sometimes I will play with the filters or editing, and I will change it to black and white and see, okay, what kind of colors can I use to create that? Here we go. So this might be kind of more of an easier kind of project than we've worked on in the past, but I really love sometimes when we can take something easy and show how it can really make your art better, and understanding how the value of color can give you perspective. This is a huge lesson today. So it might seem easy, but I want you to really think about how perspective and how color can like add to the paintings that you create. Because it doesn't matter what medium you use. You could use collage like we've learned, or watercolor like we're going to learn, or acrylics. And color is just so important to try to understand, and how it can help us with what we're trying to make. Okay, so I'm going to keep working away. I know you probably get bored watching me paint over and over, so I am going to keep going. I'm going to keep darkening my color, and I'm going to come back in about halfway through, and we're going to keep working away and see what you've got. So if I'm moving too quickly, please pause, or if I'm moving too slowly, you can definitely speed this up. And that's why I'm going to take a break in here, because some people might get bored watching me just paint. But okay, so I will be right back. Hi everyone, so I'm back and I'm super excited because I'm going to show you that this is working. I imagine you can see it on yours too, is that the lighter, a little darker, a little darker, a little darker, is giving us the color perspective that we were discussing. So I'm going to keep going here. I've got 2 more rows of mountains to do. And this last color that I used is the one right out of the tube. So to kind of make it a little bit darker, I'm going to add that gray. The gray purple that I created. So it's got that little bit of black in it, right? It's already, and it's a little bit of white. A little bit more black. It's dulled it out a little bit, and it's a little bit darker than my last one. Oh, I think I need it a bit more. See, the fun thing is too, is color mixing is something that we're always gonna be doing, so it's kind of nice to practice on something like this. Perfect, but we're using all the same colors. Ah, look at that, that looks so good. And it gives us that little bit of darker to bring to more the foreground. It's lots of fun to see the changes we can make just with color. That we've given it the perspective that we're looking across a bunch of mountains. All with one, really, a main color, and just changing that color up. So think of all the things you can do. You know, what happens when you change the color completely and have 2 different colors? We now know how to change up the value, so we can combine all that information. See, these tools and tricks, the great thing is you can use it on any art project. It's not just for this one, it's how can you use this in your paintings later, or drawings, lots of different things. There we go. Keep working my way through. And please send in your pictures. And like I said, it doesn't have to be mountains. You could even have buildings, like layers and layers of buildings. So like, could be like a city scene, right? Anything our imagination can create, we can find a way to paint it. It's great with these tricks, because it makes us think about all the things we painted before and how could we change it. Like how maybe we could use, you know, just changing of the value of a color to make something look closer or more far away. And how is perspective kind of given to your painting? There we go. If you notice, I think I got dog hair in here. Gosh. I brush my dogs every day and they still shed everywhere. It drives me crazy. I love them so much. And if you can believe it, my husky does not shed as much as my Rottweiler. I think that they wouldn't shed very much, but my gosh, does she ever. Okay, so I'm going to add some more color to that mixture, and I just keep adding more color. Just keep mixing away, right? You've mixed it once, you can mix it again. So don't get too upset if it's not working out. You just take a deep breath and kind of look at, okay, do I have the color? Do I need it darker? Do I need it lighter? Work with that. Okay. Almost done this layer. Now I'm going to have to do a second layer though, because I did my whole way down all these mountains because it was looking a little streaky, and this is too, but I want it nice and dry before I put on the next coat. But feel free to get your markers out, and you can outline these mountains. You could add rocks. You could add people, rock climbers. You could have people climbing up the mountains. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit more black, a little bit more of my purple. Oh, that's dark. But, oh, it's a nice color. Just lots darker. Okay, let's see. Oh, not too different. Not as much as I'd like anyway, so I'm gonna add a little bit more black. A little bit more of that purple. Let's see. Do you notice it looks like a charcoal gray? Do you know, if you look at gray, there's always going to be kind of a color mixed in with it. So this is kind of more of a charcoal purple gray. But sometimes gray can really look blue or green. Gray, it can look all sorts of different colors. So next time you look at the color gray, if you see a gray wall, just look, and if you look really, really hard, you can usually see the tone of a different color. Isn't that kind of neat? Gray is an amazing color that way. But gray is also a scary color that way, because sometimes you can add gray, and if you're not paying attention to that color that's with it, it can kind of come out when you least expect it. I painted my walls gray once, and I was sure it was purple tint, and it ended up to be very, very blue. Too blue, in fact. I had to go and change it all, because gray is just that strange kind of color that you got to be really careful that you know kind of what you're doing when you mix it. So I always say to make sure you've got a bit of a color hue in there so you know what it is and you can work with it. I usually try to use the same colors that are in my painting to balance out a gray. So this is the great part. Yes, this looks like a charcoal gray, but it's got a purple tone to it. Where if it had like a green tone, it would look like it didn't match, look like it didn't fit. Paint away. Okay, so I'm gonna be back in just a moment. So I'm gonna let this dry, and then I'm gonna go back and do a second coat, and I wanna show you what I've got. Okay, I'll see you in just a moment. So we're back, and I think it's so amazing that today we learned how to use monochromatic color palette and how color and perspective really go together. So I know today was kind of more of a learning class than it was a super fun art project. So next week we're gonna do something super fun. So please send me in the pictures that you have created this week of your monochromatic color palettes and color and perspective. Let me see what you've come up with. So I'll see you next week.